one of Albania's oldest cities, the country's main seaport, the second largest industrial center after Tirana. The district of Durres covers an area of 432 km2 in the north-eastern part. It shares the boundary with the district of Tirana, and in the south with the district of Kavaya. The western boundary of the city is defined by the Adriatic Sea shoreline, which has a length of 30 kilometers. It is the most ancient and one of the most economically important cities of Albania. It is located on the central Albanian coast. It is situated at one of the narrower points of the Adriatic Sea, opposite the Italian ports of Bari, 300 kilometers/186 miles away, and Brindisi. It has a population of around 202,000. The physical morphology of the region is characterized by plains and hills, which have an average height of 89 meters above the sea level, whereas in the city, the average height is only 2 meters above the sea level. The whole city is settled on the natural. The oldest part of the city is situated on the hill overlooking the Adriatic Sea, in the west, the Bay of Durres, in the south, and the plain in the east and northeast. The city is extending and increasing in density as well, basically in all directions, the plain in the north and east, and also towards the south, along the sandy seashore. The port is positioned right in the center of the Bay of Durres. According to recent plans and developments on an international scale, the city of Durres is thought to take up a strategic position and role within the net of the 8 corridor, which is a strong infrastructural arterial that will make a more efficient connection between the eastern and western countries. Corridor number 8 originates from the Italian peninsula, crosses the Adriatic through Bari and Brindisi, arriving at Durres, the main port city of Albania. The Durres-Tirana conurbation is already a part of the 8th corridor, supported by an international airport. At the present, the 8th corridor moves east to Elbasan, passes through Skopje, and comes to Sofia, serving as a junction point. Durres is still an important link to Western Europe due to its port and its proximity to the Italian port cities, notably Bari, to which daily ferries run. As well as the dockyard, it also possesses an important shipyard and manufacturing industries, notably producing leather, plastic, and tobacco products. The history of the port city of Durres goes back as long as 3,000 years. The foundation of the city dates back to the year 627 BC, when a Greek, Hellene, colony settled at the lower southern shores of Adriatic Sea. Because of its importance and size, the port city of Durres is categorized among the greatest cities of the Mediterranean entity during antiquity and the Middle Ages. Dera was the starting point via Agnatia 43, provided a link between the West and East Roman Empire. The situation of the country in the 1920s was very critical and contradictory, considering the fact that it shared almost 40% of the borders with the sea, but on the other hand did not have good port structures. The era of the monarchy 1928 to 1939, and then the time of war till 1944 were very important regarding the urban structure, the planning and architecture domain. The Square of Liberty reception villa of King Zog and the local bank building were constructed. During socialist period, the first comprehensive regional and urban strategies were developed and applied, based on the principle of industrial decentralization. The site bordered by the city wall and Adriatica Street, the one going parallel to the seashore line, and closest to it, was proposed to be principally green space. The greenery would become denser towards the southwest and end up with a public green park right at the feet of the hill. Based on the principle of industrial decentralization, it kept the main lines of development as the preceding plan, and its main feature was the functional zoning, where the industrial area had a considerable place and emphasis. The master plan aimed at controlling and regulating everything. Characteristic of this master plan is the functional zoning of the site, a feature typical of the socialist planning. By analyzing the urban design plan of the vacation area in Durres, it is possible to obtain information on facilities that take place on the coastal belt. What characterized the urban development of the city after the 1990 was the phenomenon of illegal constructions. The very essential cause of the uncontrolled urban expansion and emergence of informal settlements was the occurrence of immigration, the free movement of people within the country, from the rural areas to the more urban ones, aiming for the centers of greater opportunities. It simply proposed a zoning that defined one only urban criteria: the height of 6, 8, and 10 floors. As a result of all developments occurring in the last 15 years, the coastal area, the occupation of the geographical setting, namely the sloping plain between the coastal hill range and the sea, what we named as the seafront square, not having a clear defined identity, remains in between a residential and retreat area, but at the same time not offering the necessary services or having the features of neither the residential nor retreat vacation area. The absence of a plan to develop the beaches of Durres has led to the creation of a superintensity of buildings and the discharging into the sea of sewage of 500,000 inhabitants. For years the coastal area of Durres has become a concrete area, becoming the largest urban massacres in the country. The coast is turning into a garbage collector.